Thank you so much for joining us today. I am Stella with Stella Yoga.
And I'm Jessie, and today we are continuing our talk about the eight limb path, specifically the Yamas. Today we are talking about Brahmacharya, which Brahmacharya is how to be efficient with your energy.
True. It's also generally related to like celibacy or abstinence. That means like with your body, with your thoughts, with all of the things that we consume. And when we are conserving our energy, what benefits that brings to us. So celibacy, generally thought of as like, not being a slut, keeping your own sexual energy to yourself. But sexual energy also translates into so many other things because sexual energy is your creative energy.
Your manifestation potential. And I
100%.
think with the word abstinence, sometimes that can be kind of a turn off. So I think maybe another way to think about it is like moderation. It's being aware of your use of your own creative energy, and also being aware of where you tend to seek pleasure. So because in those pleasure seeking things, or whether they're things or people, that's a type of bondage, that kind of like. And so it's how Brahmacharya is the practice of how can you find your inner happiness, your inner joy through yourself. And where you're seeking pleasure, you got to take moderation in those things.
I say it's good to want things, right? Like it's good to like want something and not have it. And we're so used to like gratification or really instant gratification. And it's okay to like want something and not have it, right? Like it's okay to want a cookie and not eat it. It's okay to want to go on vacation and not go there. Or, like, with children, right? And we're all inner children ourselves, right? Like they want something and they want it right. We want it right now. And it's really a good discipline or practice to want something and not necessarily get it.
Mm-hmm. And in that wanting of being, I think the Brahmacharya practice is being aware of where you're being compulsive versus conscious. In that, like, I want the cookie and I'm going to eat it. And then afterwards, I'm like, why did I just eat that cookie? So the Brahmacharya practice is a way of like looking at, okay, I really want this cookie. Like, let me think about that. Let me sit on that wanting for a little bit.
And it brings so much reverence, right? It brings so much reverence to the cookie, right? Or to whatever that is. But it brings a sense of an intimate way to relate to the things that you want when you're restraining yourself from having it. And it's not about withholding from yourself, right? It's not about like having a mental lack, like I'm not allowed to have the cookie, right? Like that's not what it's about. It's about holding it in such a high regard and in such a high place that you are honoring what you want, right? You're honoring it instead of denying yourself pleasure. It's about creating the intimate relationship around knowing why you want something.
Mm-hmm. And Brahma or Brahman is the ultimate, the divine. And Charya is the path. And so when you are practicing Brahmacharya, you are putting yourself on the path to connect with the divine, the ultimate.
Right. The divine, whether you call that God, whether you call that your highest self, like whatever that word is for you, it's the ultimate part of you that is operating in its highest good and the highest good for yourself and highest good for then all beings.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
that's Brahmacharya.
and that's, yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful practice
Yeah.
that I believe that, I've uh, come to, there's always layers and layers and layers and layers of it, layers and layers and layers of it. And so many of us practice, I don't get to practice this, or don't necessarily have like the reverence of like wanting something and not having it. You don't just like decide you're going to build a business and then 6 months later have a 6-figure business. You don't decide that you want to, buy a house and you just buy a $2 million home, right? There's a level of creating like the small steps that get you there. And some of those small steps are just realizing what you want and that you don't need to have it right away.
Mm-hmm. And how that practice will allow you to be in a in a right relationship with the world around you and the people around you. You
And
know,
that's
that's the
why,
yamas. That's the
right.
practice of the yamas.
And that's why you said in the beginning, right, that this is like a part of the ultimate manifestation, right? Part of the ultimate manifestation is like understanding that we want something and we're not necessarily going to have it right away. You can still be in a right relationship with yourself to create that sacred space that will allow you to be open to it. That's why Brahmacharya is so important, so important, and one of the beginning steps of this yogic path,
Mm-hmm.
the Yamas.
Yep.
So we hope that this helps you understand even better what yoga is. We and Jessi and I with Stella Luna Yoga School, we have a DIY program for householders, yoga teacher training certification on the 200 level with Yoga Alliance. And we both do personal coaching. If you're ever interested in that, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, to like and comment this on Facebook, to follow us on all the channels. We are Stella Luna Yoga School, here to release 10,000 fears with fun, functional fitness and practical spirituality.
Thank you.
Namaste.